Today on the show, we have the co-founder of Kaju Kembo's Xuan Fa, and he's also the founder of Wun Hak Kwon Do, and he is the legendary Grandmaster Al Dacascos. Al Dacascos, who's also the father of Mark Dacascos, who is, as we all know, a big-time Hollywood star who starred in movies such as Brotherhood of the Wolf, Only the Strong, and on TV he also is a part of the Iron Chef show. Anyway, I'm not going to delay any longer. I know you guys want to get to the interview. So, coming up, legendary Grandmaster Al Dacascos, and remember, you have just entered the Mavericks dojo. So I wanted to know, what were your first experiences in martial arts as a child, growing up? I mean, are you from, a martial arts family?
My first experience was actually finding out about the Filipino fighting arts. I must have been, I don't know, maybe about 5 or 6 years old, watching my grandpa practice in the center court of the camp complex we were living in. And he actually was practicing with his residue workers. They work on the sugarcane fields, and early in the morning, usually between 5 o'clock and 6:30, they were out there practicing with bolo knives or sugarcane knives, and then head out into the fields. Yeah, that's my first experience of seeing live blades being used.
Wow. From the research I've done in the past, it seems like you have a lot of good genetics in your family. What are you, half Spanish, Chinese, and Filipino, something like that, right?
Right. Yes.
Do you think that has anything to do with your awesome talent in the martial arts?
I think it's you grew up doing martial arts, but you're really not knowing that you're doing martial arts because it was so common for kids at that age to be practicing some kind of martial arts. The Filipinos would be practicing the Filipino arts, and the Chinese would be practicing theirs, and the Japanese would be theirs. I mean, it was pretty much like on the mainland, the U.S. mainland, or in Europe, where kids would be at the early age practicing football or soccer. So it was just part of doing it. You really never. Well, it was sort of like a way of character building as well as sports in some sense. But it was just just developing the character and discipline. Is very, very hardcore when it comes into the Asian population.
I wanted to ask you something about the Kaju Kembo. Were you the one who introduced the name Xuan Fa?
What is the question again?
Because you were the co-founder of the Xuan Fa version of Kaju Kembo, right?
Yes.
You were the one who introduced the name. Am I correct?
That's true.
And how is it different from the other, divisions of Kaju Kembo?
Well, Kaju Kembo in the early 1940s was said to be developed by 5 co-founders. Bear in mind that the first 5 co-founders were all in their 20s. Yeah, probably the oldest was 26, but they were young. And during the time that they were developing it, between 1947 to 1949, these 5 individuals were in various disciplines of the martial arts, primarily into the Kempo section, and all of them were Christians. So this is why the logo that we have on the Kaju Kempo starts off with the clover, because it was came out of the Irish Catholics that were practicing here and then forming the boxing club basically, and Kaju Kempo was formed by think you're familiar with Ka for karate, Ju for judo, jiu-jitsu, Ken for kenpo, Bo for boxing, Western boxing. The Chinese boxing never came in until actually later. I live here in Hawaii, but for the longest period of time, we only were led to believe that certain things about Kaiju Kembo because there were no internet or ways of finding out a little bit more into detail the origin and the complexities of Kaiju Kembo. It wasn't until this last 15 or 20 years that a lot of the things that on Kaiju Kembo is coming out that were ended up being myth and urban legends. This is one reason why I'm writing a book on Kaiju Kembo. Whether it's called the Kaiju Kembo Bible or not, I don't know. But the objective behind writing this book is to separate facts from fiction, because martial arts in general has a lot of myth and urban legends, and Kaiju Kembo is no different. But that said, the first 5 founders formed what they believe to be the first original mixed martial arts. Actually, I don't really call it mixed martial arts, MMA. I use MMA in a different term where I call it mean martial arts, because it is pretty brutal in that concept. So when the Kaiju Kempo Karate section was formed with these 5 individuals, it lasted from the 1947 all the way up into the early part of the 1960s, where the Kung Fu was becoming out. I mean, there was a lot of things that were very exclusive at that time beginning to show up. So when Kung Fu came out, the Emperado already had formed the Kaiju Kembo Tompai section, which means Central Way. And it was pretty much influenced with the art of Tai Chi, Pahua, and Xing He. So we pretty much stayed that way. It was Emperado, Al Dacascos, and myself. I was at the bottom of the totem pole. We helped Emperado form that. So that was the first section I was involved with in the evolution of Kaiju Kembo.